Mila was a poor girl who lived near a busy street. Every morning she woke up before the sun came out. She tied her hair with a small ribbon and picked up her old bucket and cloth. She did not have a big home or nice clothes, but she had a kind heart and strong hope. Her only wish was to earn enough money to buy food for her little brother. The street was always full of noise. Cars passed by very fast, and people walked in a hurry. Many did not notice Mila at all. She stood near the traffic light and waited for cars to stop. When a car slowed down, she would step forward and ask in a soft voice if she could wash it for a few coins. Some people said yes. Some people ignored her. Still, Mila kept trying. She did not feel ashamed. She knew she was working honestly. On that day, the sun was bright, and the road was very hot. Mila's shoes were thin, and her hands were rough from washing many cars. Still, she did not stop. Her brother was waiting at home, hungry. Then a large black car stopped near her. It was not like the other cars. It was shiny and clean, and it looked very expensive. Inside the car sat a man named Ron. He was a powerful company leader. He owned big buildings and made many important decisions every day. People respected him, and some even feared him. Ron was in a hurry. He was going to an important meeting, but the traffic light had turned red, so he had to stop. Mila walked toward the car and knocked gently on the window. She looked at Ron with hopeful eyes. She asked if she could wash his car for a few coins. Ron looked at her for a moment. He saw her thin clothes and tired face. He felt something in his heart, but he did not know why. He nodded and agreed. Mila smiled and quickly started washing the front of the car. She dipped her cloth into the bucket and wiped carefully. She wanted to do a good job because she needed the money. Ron stepped out of the car and stood near it. He checked his phone and thought about his meeting. But something made him look at Mila again. She worked quietly, moving her cloth in small circles. Water drops fell on the road. The sunlight shined on her hands. Then something caught Ron's eyes. Mila wore a small bracelet on her wrist. It was old but beautiful. It had a tiny golden mark that looked very special. Ron felt his heart beat faster. He had seen that mark before. Many years ago, when he was young, he gave a bracelet just like that to someone very important to him. That bracelet was not common. It was made for only one person. Ron moved closer without realizing it. He stared at the bracelet, trying to be sure. Mila noticed his eyes and felt shy. She thought maybe she had done something wrong. She tried to hide her wrist while she kept washing the car. Ron slowly spoke and asked her where she got the bracelet. Mila looked up at him. She said her mother gave it to her a long time ago. Her voice was calm, but her eyes showed pain. She told him her mother had passed away and that the bracelet was all she had left from her. Ron felt like the ground moved under his feet. His hands began to shake. That bracelet was not just any gift. It was part of his own past. Mila did not know what was happening inside Ron's mind. She only wanted to finish washing the car so she could get her coins and buy food. But for Ron, everything had changed. A poor girl with a simple bucket was standing in front of him, holding a secret that could change his life forever. And he did not even know how deep that secret was yet. Ron could not take his eyes off the small bracelet on Mila's wrist. Even though he tried to stay calm, his heart was beating very fast. The golden mark on the bracelet was the same one he remembered from long ago. It brought back memories he had tried to forget. Mila finished washing the front of the car and moved to the side. She worked slowly and carefully. She did not want to miss any spot. Every coin mattered to her. Ron walked around the car pretending to check if it was clean, but he was really watching the bracelet. His mind was full of thoughts. He kept seeing the face of a woman from his past. She had worn the same bracelet and had smiled at him in a warm way. Ron softly asked Mila about her mother. Mila stopped for a moment and looked down. She said her mother was a kind woman who always told her to be strong and honest. She also said her mother used to talk about a man who once cared about her but went away many years ago. Those words made Ron feel weak in his legs. He held the side of the car to steady himself. Mila did not know why the man looked so shocked. She thought maybe she had said something wrong. She quickly went back to washing the car, feeling nervous. Ron took a deep breath and asked where Mila lived. She said she lived in a small room not far from the street with her little brother. They had only each other now. She worked every day to keep food on the table. Ron felt a heavy feeling in his chest. The story Mila told sounded very close to his own past. Many years ago, the woman he loved had left without any message. He never knew what happened to her. He had searched for her, but found nothing. Now this poor girl was telling him a story that matched that lost time. Mila told Ron that her mother had kept the bracelet very safe. She said her mother once told her that the bracelet was a sign of love and promise. Even when they had little food, her mother never sold it. Ron closed his eyes for a moment. He remembered giving the bracelet as a promise that he would come back. He had tried. Life had pulled him away, and he had never found her again. Mila finished washing the car and stepped back. She smiled a little and asked Ron if it was good. Ron looked at the clean car, but his mind was far away. He slowly took out some coins and handed them to Mila. Then he stopped and added more. He gave her much more than she asked for. Mila's eyes grew wide. She thanked him again and again. She felt happy because now she could buy enough food for her brother. But Ron was not thinking about the money. He was thinking about the girl in front of him. He asked Mila if she could come back later. He said he wanted to talk more. Mila felt unsure, but she nodded. She trusted him because he was kind to her. Ron got back into his car but did not drive away right away. He looked at Mila through the window. The small girl with the old bracelet now seemed very important to him. The traffic light turned green, and Ron drove away, but his heart stayed behind. Mila watched the car go and then walked toward the small shop to buy bread. She did not know that her life was about to change in a way she could never imagine. Ron went to his meeting, but he could not focus. His mind kept going back to the bracelet and the girl. Every detail of her story felt like a piece of his own life. He knew he had to find the truth. Later that day, Ron returned to the street. Mila was there again, washing another car. When she saw him, she felt surprised. Ron walked toward her with a serious but gentle look. He asked her if she could talk with him after she finished. Mila nodded and continued her work. The secret between them was growing stronger, and neither of them knew how deep it really was yet. Mila finished washing the car and placed her bucket to the side. Her arms felt tired, but she stayed calm. Ron stood nearby and waited. The street was still busy, but for both of them, the world felt quiet. Ron spoke first. He thanked Mila for her work and told her she did a good job. Mila smiled and nodded. She did not know why this man wanted to talk to her, but she felt he was not unkind. Ron asked if they could sit for a moment. They moved to a bench near the street. Cars passed by, and people walked around them, but Ron only focused on Mila. He asked her about her life. Mila told him about her small home, her brother, and how they woke up early every day to earn money. She said she tried to stay strong because her mother always told her not to give up. Ron listened very carefully. Each word made his heart feel heavier and warmer at the same time. He asked more about her mother. Mila said her mother was gentle and smart. She used to tell Mila stories at night. She said her mother talked about a man who once loved her very much. Ron felt his throat tighten. Mila said her mother had waited for that man for a long time. She believed he would come back. Even when life became hard, her mother still believed in that promise. Ron slowly took a deep breath. He told Mila that he once knew a woman like that. A woman who believed in him when he was poor and trying to build his future. Mila looked at him with surprise. Ron said that woman had worn a bracelet just like hers. He said he gave it to her as a sign that he would always remember her. Mila gently touched her bracelet. She had never known where it came from before her mother gave it to her. Hearing this made her heart beat faster. Ron asked if Mila had anything else that belonged to her mother. Mila thought for a moment and took out a small old photo from her bag. It was a little faded, but it showed her mother standing beside a young man. Ron's hands began to shake as he took the photo. The man in the photo was him. He looked younger, but the face was the same. Ron felt tears in his eyes. He had searched for this woman for years and never found her. Now he was looking at her child. Mila watched his face and felt scared and confused. She did not understand why he looked so emotional. Ron slowly gave the photo back. He told Mila that the woman in the photo was someone very important to him. He said she was someone he had loved deeply. Mila's heart felt like it stopped for a moment. She looked at the photo again and then at Ron. The truth was becoming clear. Ron told Mila that her mother was the woman he had been searching for all his life. Mila felt a mix of shock and emotion. She had grown up without knowing anything about that part of her past. Ron said he never knew she had a child. He said life had separated him from her mother, and he never got the chance to return. Mila did not know what to say. Her hands trembled as she held the bracelet. The busy street felt far away now. Two lives that had been apart for so long were finally connected again. And this was only the beginning of a new story that neither of them expected. Mila sat quietly on the bench, holding the small photo and her bracelet. Her heart felt heavy. Ron sat beside her and waited. He did not want to rush her. He knew this truth was big and hard to understand. Mila finally looked at him. Her eyes were full of questions. She asked if he was truly the man in the photo. Ron nodded slowly. He said that many years ago, he was young and had little money. He loved Mila's mother very much, but life pushed him away. He explained how he had to leave to build his future. He promised to return, but when he came back, she was gone. He searched for her but found nothing. He never knew she had a child. Mila listened carefully. She remembered how her mother used to look at the bracelet with a soft smile. Now she understood why. Ron said he felt deep pain when he lost her mother. He said he never stopped thinking about her. Seeing Mila felt like seeing her mother again. Mila wiped her eyes. She felt both happy and sad. Happy because she finally knew the truth. Sad because her mother was not there to see it. Ron gently asked about Mila's brother. Mila said his name was Leo. He was small and often waited for her at home. She worried about him every day. Ron felt another wave of emotion. He realized that not only Mila but also Leo was part of this lost family. Ron stood up and asked Mila if she would come with him to her home. He said he wanted to see where she lived. Mila was unsure, but something in his voice felt honest. They walked through the streets together. Mila showed him the small room where she and Leo lived. It was simple and quiet. Leo looked surprised to see a man with Mila. Mila introduced Ron to her brother. Leo was shy, but he smiled when Ron spoke kindly to him. Ron looked around the small room and felt a deep sadness. He could not believe that his family had lived this way without him. He told Mila and Leo that he wanted to help them. He said they did not have to struggle anymore. Mila felt hope for the first time in a long while. Ron knew that the road ahead would not be easy, but he was ready to walk it. The truth had finally come out, and their lives would never be the same again. The sun was going down as Ron stood outside the small room with Mila and Leo. The light was soft, and the air felt calm. Inside his heart, many emotions were moving. He knew this was not just a meeting by chance. It was a moment that had been waiting for many years. Mila watched Ron carefully. She still felt unsure, but she also felt safe. Leo held her hand and looked up at Ron with curious eyes. He did not know what was happening, but he felt that something important was going on. Ron spoke gently. He told Mila and Leo that he wanted to take care of them. He said he did not want them to worry about food, home, or school anymore. He said they deserved a better life. Mila felt tears in her eyes. For so long, she had been strong on her own. Hearing these words made her heart feel warm and scared at the same time. Ron told them that he had a big house not far from the city. It had many rooms and a quiet garden. He said they could live there if they wanted. Mila looked at Leo. Leo smiled and nodded. He trusted his sister. Mila then looked back at Ron and slowly agreed. That night, they went to Ron's home. It was large and clean. Mila and Leo had never seen a place like this before. Everything looked new and bright. Ron showed them their rooms. He told them to rest. He said a new day would bring new hope. The next morning, Mila woke up feeling strange. She was not used to soft beds and quiet rooms. Leo was happy and excited. Ron took them to have breakfast. They ate together at a big table. It felt like a family. Ron told Mila that he wanted her to go to school. He said she was smart and deserved to learn. Mila had always dreamed of school but never had the chance. Leo would also go to school. Days passed, and life slowly changed. Mila no longer stood on the street with a bucket. She wore clean clothes and carried books. Leo laughed more and played with other children. Ron watched them grow happier every day. He felt like a part of his heart had finally returned. One day, Mila held her bracelet and looked at Ron. She thanked him for everything. Ron smiled and told her that the bracelet had brought them together. The small piece of gold was not just a memory anymore. It was a bridge between the past and the future. Their story had started on a busy street, but it had led them to a new life filled with hope. And that was the greatest gift of all.